Okay, let's call the meeting to order, please. Ms. Whitby, if you'll call the roll.
Yes, sir. Ross? Here. White?
Here.
Taylor is absent. Robinson? Here. Baxter?
Here.
Vouch?
Here.
Hyde is absent. Witcher? A quorum is present, sir.
Thank you. I have the pleasure to turn the floor over to Alderman Beth White for her introductions, and we'll ask everyone to stand for the prayer and pledge.
Thank you. I'll pray, and then when I'm done, my three grandsons, Sam, Nate, and Isaac Itza, will lead the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. Pray with me. Father, thank you for the chance to gather together again and discuss the city's business. Father, we're in a time in our history where there's a lot of turmoil and a lot of unsettled feelings amongst people. And Father, for this, I'd like to pray your word as a reminder. And this is from Psalms, or from Romans. If your gift is to encourage others, be encouraging. If it's giving, give generously. If God's given you leadership ability, take the responsibility seriously. And if you have a gift for showing kindness to others, do it gladly. Don't just pretend to love others, really love them. Hate what's wrong, hold tightly to what's good. Love each other with genuine affection, and take delight in honoring each other. And Father, we thank you for your word because it's always right. Father, we pray protection over all of our city workers. And we thank you in your Son Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. And now the pledge.
Okay, come on, guys.
Are you ready? Okay, on the count of three, we'll start. One, put your hands up. Put your hand up there. 1, 2, 3.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good job, guys. Yay.
Out-mayored the mayor.
That was a great job.
Give me an idea.
Second.
On the motion.
On the motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting, Ross?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Vouch?
Yes.
And Witcher?
Yes.
Okay, how about communications? Anybody want communications?
Number 1.
Number 3.
All right. How about a motion to accept 2 and 4?
So moved.
Second.
On the motion.
On the motion on 2 and 4, Ross?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Vouch?
Yes.
And Witcher?
Yes.
Number 1, do you want it in its entirety or by title?
Entirety, please.
Okay. A memorandum to Mayor Smith and City Clerk Whitby from Terry Hartwick, Director of Parks and Recreation, stated April 28, 2016, notice of public hearing for the Parks and Recreation Department. Please place the following on the May 9, 2016 City Council agenda under Communications and read. The North Little Rock Parks and Recreation Commission will hold a public hearing starting at 5:15 p.m. or directly following the regular scheduled commission meeting on Monday, May 16, 2016 at the North Little Rock Community Center, 2700 Willow Street. The purpose of the public hearing will be to get public input concerning parks and recreation needs for the city of North Little Rock. If you have recreational or parks needs or requests you want to address, please call the Parks and Recreation Administrative Office at 791-8538 by Thursday, May 12, 2016 to be placed on the agenda to speak. Ideally, each person or organization should bring a written summary that lists requests in priority order with cost estimates. Ethnics, minorities, elderly, and individuals with disabilities are encouraged to attend.
Move to accept and file.
Second.
On the motion.
Ross?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Vouch?
Yes.
And Witcher?
Yes.
And number 3?
In its entirety, please.
Okay. This is a memorandum from Harold Ford, Sanitation Director, to City Clerk Whitby and Finance Director Karen Scott, dated April 29, 2016, regarding the City of Little Rock landfill agreement. Attached, you will find an addendum to our contract with the City of Little Rock landfill. As specified in the contract, a CPI adjustment is due each year on the anniversary date. According to the attachment, our new disposal rate will be increased by 0.7% effective April 1, 2016. The City of Little Rock bills once a month, and therefore our first payment with the increased rate will show up by the 10th of May. If you have any questions, please call.
Move to accept and file.
Second.
On the motion.
Ross?
Yes.
White? Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Vouch?
Yes.
And Witcher?
Yes.
Thank you. Let's go special call.
Okay. This is an email from City Attorney Jason Carter to council members, et cetera. It is dated, there we go, Friday, May the 6th, 2016. To honorable members of the North Little Rock City Council, the purpose of this email is to advise you that Mayor Smith has called a special meeting of the North Little Rock City Council at 6 p.m. on Monday, May 9, 2016, at City Hall Council Chambers, North Little Rock, Arkansas. The following will be on the agenda: O-1632, an ordinance waiving formal bidding requirements for repairs to the concrete drainage ditch at the back of property located at 709 to 713 Healy Avenue in the city of North Little Rock, Arkansas, appropriating funds, declaring an emergency, and for other purposes, sponsored by Mayor Joe Smith. This is pursuant to Section 2-482 of the North Little Rock Municipal Code, and all members were notified by email and have replied.
Hey, we're showing pictures up there. We've got a 120-foot wall that has collapsed and has taken the fence and part of the yards of those neighbors up and down at 120 feet. Public Works is really wanting to get in there before we have another one of these heavy storms, because all it's going to do is make it more expensive to repair if the longer we wait. So the good news is that we caught it and we can do a special call tonight. The bad news is we've already gotten one quote, working on another one, and I don't think that we've got enough money in this ordinance. So I would certainly want to start out with a motion, but I'm going to have to ask for an amendment
I need to read it first. To
Yeah.
Publish it,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So, anyway, that's where we are right now, so let's go ahead and read it.
Yes, sir, an ordinance waiving formal bidding requirements for repairs to the concrete drainage ditch at the back of property located at 709, 713 Healy Avenue in the city of North Little Rock, first reading.
Move to suspend the rules, place on second reading.
Second.
On the motion.
Ross?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Vouch?
Yes.
And Witcher?
Yes.
An ordinance waiving formal bidding requirements for repairs to the concrete drainage ditch at the back of property located at 709, 713 Healy Avenue in the city of North Little Rock, and appropriating funds, second reading.
Do you have an amendment?
Yeah, please. What I'd like to do is raise that to 100,000 to the 50. So I'd like someone to please amend that.
What's that coming out? I mean, what is it coming out of the Public Works Department still? The 100,000 will come out of Public Works?
That's,
Actually, we'll have to appropriate it. We don't have that much money in there, I don't think.
It will be in addition to the Public Works budget, which is in the general fund, and it will have to be funded from carry forward fund balance.
Okay. Get the motion. So moved.
Linda, Ms. Robinson made a motion, second. Do we have a
Second.
On the motion to amend?
Ross?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Vouch?
yes.
And Witcher?
Yes.
Got a motion for third reading.
Move to suspend the rules, place on third reading.
Second.
On the motion.
On the motion to suspend the rules as amended, Ross?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Vouch?
Yes.
And Witcher?
Yes.
An ordinance waiving formal bidding requirements for repairs to the concrete drainage ditch at the back of property located at 709, 713 Healy Avenue in the city of North Little Rock, Arkansas, and appropriating funds as amended.
Move for adoption.
Second?
Second.
Question?
I don't know about where this is, but in Ward 3, we've got multiple locations that are in dire need of drainage work. I know this is a crisis and needs immediate reaction, but maybe that's something we can look at in the next year's budget, is to aggressively pursue some of these drainage issues that Public Works is aware that's going to collapse or has a potential to wipe out somebody's backyard or a garage or something like that. So I think that would be a topic of discussion, or should be a topic of discussion.
I would love for you to give us a list. So if you're aware of something, you might think we know about it, but we might not. So if you'll give us a list of what you think needs to be looked at, we'll certainly do that. Okay, where are we, Ms. Whitby, on the motion?
Sir?
On the motion.
On the motion to adopt as amended, Ross?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Vouch?
Yes.
And Witcher?
Yes.
On the emergency, Ross?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Vouch? And Witcher?
Yes.
Thank you very much. We have a presentation from our dear friend Randy Naylor, who is the chairman of Keep North Little Rock Beautiful. And as always, Randy, we appreciate what you do for us.
Thank you. I really want to introduce Daniel Guyton. He's been the president for the last year, and he's done a lot of work, and he's kind of taking over.
So Daniel's the new pretty face of Keep
Yeah.
North Park Beautiful.
I'm still going to be on the board helping out, but he's the new,
Well, good.
new president.
Good.
So.
Daniel, welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Randy. Thank you, Mayor Smith and members. We're just trying to get a last push out there for our Great North Little Rock cleanup happening on Saturday, May 14th from 8 to 11. Every year, the Keep North Little Rock Beautiful takes out thousands of pounds of trash out of North Little Rock and its surrounding waterways, just through volunteers and community partnership. And I think we do a great job, and if you guys can reach out to anybody in your community, your churches, we would love to have more people come out, and we'd love to keep the city as beautiful as it is.
Where do they need to go and what time?
So we don't have anything, all that we have right now is we are doing a cleanup celebration for all of the community partners that we have throughout Amboy neighborhood. All the neighborhood communities generally do one teen court. But that will be at, where is it? That's at the John Irving Pavilion at Burns Park at 11:30. So you can go to our website, keepnorthlittlrockbeautiful.com, and register a cleanup. It can be anywhere from 1 to 100 people. So if you just want to get out and get down the street, and we can give you trash bags, litter grabbers, gloves, whatever you need to keep it clean.
So if somebody wants, listening at home right now, goes, that's a great idea for my Sunday school class, they need to go online and
Go online to keepnorthlittlrockbeautiful.org,
Okay.
and we will get you all taken care of.
great deal. Thank you all very much.
Thank you much.
Thank you.
Randy, thank you for your years of service.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go to public comment on upcoming legislation. The first one is Joe Reynolds on 01628.
Yes, I'm Joe Reynolds. I represent Meadowland Property Owners Association, and they're going to use this area. It's a back up a second. It is a residential commercial type subdivision. It's a real old subdivision, and I think they're going to want to use it, the Pulaski County Special School District, to store their buses and do whatever they need to do with them or whatever. And I think between the owner and the district or somebody, we kind of got ahead of ourselves and didn't speak with the neighborhood or speak with planning in North Little Rock and whatever, and they were under the impression the way it was zoned that they could do it, and they came out and more or less started to do what they wanted to until it was called to Planning Commission attention that we needed to talk about some issues with it, and we did meet today. The Mayor Smith was here, and Mayor Daley, and the owners, and several people with them, and I think we have pretty well ironed out the concerns that the neighborhood had and whatever. So like I say, I'm the one that requested the meeting and started this process, and I am of the opinion that more people in North Little Rock should get involved with what's going on in their neighborhoods. I'll give you a good scenario. If you get out in the rural area, even though it's in a territorial rights or whatever, you go out and build $1 million house, and somebody can come along and put a hog farm next door to you. So, I mean, there's some issues here that people don't heed to or understand or whatever, but anytime you own property anywhere in the United States, somebody has some kind of control over it. Before you do a major operation, you should more or less get your ducks and all your thoughts and everything lined up. And like I say, I think we've worked out most of the issues, and I've lived out there 35 years, and I can promise you this: if we have an issue out there, I am not bashful. I will not hesitate to bring it to somebody's attention, whether it's the school district or whoever I've got to talk to.
We appreciate Joe being our eyes and ears out there. Thank you very much, and
All right.
thank you for meeting with us today. Okay, next we're going to do John Strode. John with Ritter Communications regarding O1631 and R1679. John?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Let's give you a brief history. Some of you may not know Ritter Communications or our parent company, E-Ritter and Company. E-Ritter and Company is headquartered in Mark Tree. Ritter Communications is one of the operating divisions of E-Ritter and Company. Ritter Communications has been in the communications business since 1906. First starting as a local telephone provider in Mark Tree and in that area. In the last 30 years or so, the company has undertaken an expansion in the communications business. We now operate 3 local telephone companies, 2 in Arkansas, 1 in Tennessee, competitive local exchange company in Jonesboro, Arkansas, cable properties providing cable TV service in much of northeast Arkansas, a little bit in West Tennessee, and some in north central Arkansas, just south of Harrison. And now we are expanding further into high-speed fiber transport services, and that's really what brings us here tonight. We have been successful in bidding on the provision of services over fiber optic cable to cell towers, schools, hospitals that have been bid out by providers. In the case of the cell towers, by the state; in the case of schools, and by UAMS; in the case of hospitals and medical clinics. As we go to those locations with our fiber optic cable to provide the services that are called for under the contracts that we've been fortunate enough to win the bids on, we're going through business districts in a lot of communities in Arkansas. We have several locations in North Little Rock that we are either working on right now or hope to be putting services into soon under those contracts. And as we go through those business districts, it provides us an opportunity to offer high-speed internet services, voice services to businesses along those corridors as we place that fiber optic cable. That's what we're here for tonight. As we are providing the services called for under the contracts, we'll be passing many businesses. Our salespeople will call on businesses in North Little Rock, offer to provide services, make them quotes on the services that we have available. We believe our prices are competitive and our services are competitive. The market will tell us whether we're right or not. But to be able to do that, we needed 2 things. One, an agreement to be able to attach our cable to poles owned by North Little Rock Electric, and 2, a franchise ordinance that would give us the authority to occupy the city's streets and rights of way. That's what we're here for tonight. I'll be glad to answer any questions. We didn't ask for, we're not, the fees that are called for in the ordinance are the same as what incumbent providers are paying today. We're not asking for an advantage, but we don't want to be disadvantaged either.
Ms. Ross?
I have this anytime anybody comes in the city too, is what markers do you use for your fiber optic cables that are buried? Do you put the big white poles? What do you use?
To mark the...
Yeah, do you use markers for your fiber?
Yes, the contractor, as they install that, will, every certain number of feet, and I can't tell you exactly, will place a white pole with an orange cap on it. It'll have markings on there that tell you that there's fiber optic cable in that area, and it'll have contact information to, if you're going to dig in that area, to call, and it'll have numbers to call.
Okay, this is my biggest drawback right here, and I almost would vote no against it, even though I love the fiber. Are these poles? I mean, they're the ugliest things. We've had more trouble with these. I call them the Q-tip poles. They're horrible looking. They get knocked down. They're broken over. Is there any other kind of poles that you can use? a marker. Aren't some using some markers?
Oh,
I
how
know-
tall are your poles?
I'm sorry?
How tall?
I know we've had AT&T remove
They're-
several of them.
Maybe a little over waist high, 3-4 feet.
Yeah, no.
That I understand.
We do not want them in
aes-
Ward 1, I know that.
Aesthetically,
We don't want them in Ward 1. I mean, I can personally say that. I'm not going to speak for everyone else, but I guess that was Mayor Hayes and I that went round and around about those, but he did have several of them taken out. I mean, they're a horrible eyesight they're in people's yards. So we need to do something about
Ms.
it.
White?
Is Chris still here? Chris Wilburn? Chris and I had a conversation. I'm not trying to take away your time, but Chris and I had a conversation about this today and the necessity for markings to be there. There need to be, so
Yes.
people know. But is there something else smaller that could be
Yes.
created? I realize that I understand the importance of it because of the one call type calls and other things like that, but what's a balance here?
I cannot answer that question. I'm sorry. I don't know. That's our standard, is use those markers, the white with the orange caps. Many companies in the industry use those. I don't know if there is an alternative that's satisfactory or not. I'm sorry.
You know, this issue came up a number of years ago, and the reason for the height of the pole was because a lot of the areas are rural, and you got to get up higher over the
Right, but not
weeds
in my
and
front
all that good
yard.
kind of stuff.
Not putting it in my front.
And, I mean, I almost went and took them all down the day I became mayor, so I agree with you.
Right. They're horrible.
You know, I think I would like to make a request that if it's a developed property, like a residential neighborhood, where you don't have a height issue with weeds or out in the country, you know, that they be a certain height.
Even a business corridor, I don't want to see them down JFK. I don't want to see white poles all the way down JFK.
And the comment that I'd make for you, Mayor, is anytime that we have installation or right-of-way, a public utility, including a telecom, has the right to build their facilities. We can have reasonable regulations on how those their infrastructure is extended throughout our city. So, you know, how it's installed. And I know Chris has a whole lot of rules, and they have meetings about, you know, installing things in our rights of way. But I think marking probably has the same thing. I think we don't want to deviate too far from the industry standard, but that's something that we could communicate with the telecoms that are working in our area to say, when you're in a developed neighborhood where a 2-foot marker is really just as visible as the 6-foot marker is, that we could use something that's shorter, and then just make sure that the contractors are aware of that requirement.
Well, you know, my issue is, I argued with AT&T until I was blue in the face, and they tend to want to ignore you. In this situation where we can catch it on the front end, he can't ignore us if we put it in the law and the agreement with his franchise fee. So I don't know if we're going to deal with it. Let's deal with it now.
However we treat one telecom provider, we must treat all telecom providers the same way. It's an FCC
All right,
requirement.
let me ask you this question.
Theirs is not in the
Can we remove his stick or AT&T stick if we don't like it?
If we have an ordinance that has a reasonable substitute for how that's going to be marked, I think that, you know, we can demand compliance with that. City aesthetic standards have been upheld as being, you know, an important interest of cities. And I think that, yes, could you remove it? Yes, as long as it's being replaced with a suitable substitute.
Right. Well, why don't we do this, Ms. Ross? Why don't we ask legal to draw up an ordinance that sets the standards for those notification poles? And we will send it out to everybody that we've got a franchise with. We'll let John know on the front end, you know, go cut those things off. We're not gonna do the 4-footers. We'll have to decide if we want them 18 inches or 24 inches, whatever.
You know, we had that with AT&T, you know, they went out and took down a few and thought that that would make us happy. But one of the things is a safety issue too with these is that heavy PVC, and they're broken off all the time, and then they're sticking there with those jagged edges in the ground, and I've seen children around them, and I've gone down and I've taken a hammer and knocked them down before just so that the kids, so if they're gonna put them in, they're also gonna have to be responsible for the maintenance of them also, so I have a real problem with those jagged edges on them.
Go ahead, John.
If I may make a couple of comments. One, as I said, vast majority of our facilities will be in business areas, not in residential neighborhoods. That's not the market that we're looking at. I'm not saying we won't go down any residential streets, but the majority of our facilities will be placed in business areas. I can't say today how much will be buried and how much will be aerial attached to poles, so I can't answer that. We try to maintain those poles. If anytime we see one that's broken off, if somebody notifies us that one's broken, we will go back out and replace that as quickly as we can. It's important to us. We need those facilities marked. We need people to know so they won't dig up our cable. The worst thing that happens in the world for us is for somebody to go out and dig up our fiber optic cable and cut it. We have commitments to our customers, quality of service commitments that we will be up a certain percentage of the time, and so it's not in our interest to have those. That's why we mark the cable so it doesn't get cut, because providers need the service to their towers. I mean, if fiber optic cable gets cut going to a cell tower and people's cell phones don't work, they squawk about that. So it's a balancing.
We understand that, sure.
Mayor,
Mr. Witcher?
it seems as though in the back of my mind there are FCC requirements regarding identifying those cables and the placement of those cables in the ground. And if we could get Mr. Carter to check in on that, and perhaps get with these folks
Okay.
to see what our position actually is. You know, I feel almost confident that there is a requirement for them to identify those areas.
Ms. Ross?
One call probably requires that as well, that, you know, they require marking. I think it's the standard is going to be the question.
Yeah, I don't want to be unreasonable. I mean, the fiber optic, I totally agree, you don't want that, but there has to be a better way than a white PVC pipe with an orange cap on it that's 4 feet tall going down. I just, you know, we have even, I don't care if it is businesses, we have a lot of really nice business neighborhoods, and we have businesses that aren't, that we want to look better. We don't want them in our neighborhood.
Yep.
Why don't we approve the legislation and put John on notice that we're going to come back with some sort of different requirements for signage?
Good idea.
Okay?
I can live with that.
Mr. Baxter?
Well, Mayor, the other thing I would also recommend is if we've already got Q-tips, you know, down JFK as an example, you know, business area there, let's not put another telecommunications Q-tip 12 feet away from that one. Let's put them right next to each other so we at least, you know, control a little bit of the number of poles that we have out there. Just one of the items that we can look at as far as the aesthetic aspect of things.
I think the point you're making is if there's two fiber optic lines in the same right-of-way, why mark it twice? Mark it and make the world aware that there's a fiber optic line there. There's no sense in putting two. Because I know where I pull out of my neighborhood, you know, if I pull out of White Oak, there's two of those big markers that are in the sight triangle for the corner that, you know, obscures the view of oncoming traffic. So it is a real problem.
Okay, where are we? John, we're good. Thank you. We'll deal with this legislation here in just a second. I'll tell you what, why don't we go ahead and, with that objection, I want to pull that legislation on Pulaski County School District 01628. If you'll call that.
An ordinance
Yeah,
Sorry.
go ahead.
An ordinance granting a special use to allow school bus parking and above-ground fuel tank in an I-1 zone for property located at 7508 MacArthur Drive in the city of North Little Rock. First reading.
Move to suspend the rules, place on a second reading.
Second.
On the motion.
Ross?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Vouch?
Yes.
And Witcher?
Yes.
An ordinance granting a special use to allow school bus parking and above-ground fuel tank in an I-1 zone for property located at 7508 MacArthur Drive in the city of North Little Rock. Second reading.
Move to suspend the rules, place on its third reading.
Second.
On the motion.
Ross?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Vouch?
Yes.
And Witcher?
Yes.
An ordinance granting a special use to allow school bus parking and above-ground fuel tank in an I-1 zone for property located at 7508 MacArthur Drive in the city of North Little Rock. Third and final reading.
We have an amendment.
We have an amendment.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Baxter.
Go ahead.
After our meeting this afternoon, we came up with a couple little adjustments to the requirements, and I believe that our fine city lawyer there has, city attorney has passed those out to everyone. What we're doing here is asking that the buses enter from the east side of the property, that as far as the cleaning of the buses, that they have the proper ADQ requirements in place. And the third one, help me out here, somebody.
Opaque fence.
Yes, the screening on the neighborhood side. And that would be my amendment, is what you've seen in front of you.
Okay, do I have a second on that amendment?
Second.
On the amendment.
On the amendment, Ross?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Vouch?
Yes.
And Witcher?
Yes.
Move for adoption as amended.
All right, I'm going to stop it right there because we announced that we were going to have a public hearing. So I'm going to call a public hearing right now on this issue. Mr. Reynolds has already spoke. Anyone else here to speak on this issue? Yes, sir. Please come to the microphone and identify yourself. Three minutes, please, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Ray Alexander. I own property on East Meadow Lane. It's directly involved with this projected special use permit. I just want to say I have no objection whatsoever, and that's it.
Great, thank you very much. We like brief and to the point. All right, on the motion. Hold it, let me close that public hearing. Public hearing's closed. Now on the motion.
On the motion to adopt as amended, Ross?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Vouch?
Yes.
And Witcher?
Yes.
On the emergency, Ross?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Vouch?
Yes.
And Witcher?
Yes.
Thank you very much, Mayor Daley. It's certainly an honor to have you here with us, and absolutely, we'd love for you to come up.
No, let me just tell you, the last time that I was here, first, thank you for the vote tonight, because Blake and Kelly represents the Pulaski County Special School District, mainly to get rid of properties, but in this case, is to help them find this location. Thank Joe and the others as part of this too. But the last time I was here, you may recall, it was a stormy night, and we had a tornado alert. And it was the night we were approving something for the bringing Diamond Bear over here from the Little Rock side of the river. And we had that tornado coming through, and we exercised the meeting, I think, downstairs in the basement.
Yeah, I remember that.
When I heard this evening before coming over here that all this tornado stuff was going on in Oklahoma, I thought, no, not again.
Get back on the other side of the river.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jim. Good to see you. Okay, let's go ahead and, while we're pulling out of order, let's go ahead and pull John's legislation.
Do you want the resolution or the ordinance?
Yeah, resolution first, R-1679.
Okay. Get to it. R-1679 is an ordinance authorizing the mayor and city clerk to enter into a license agreement with E. Ritter Communications Holdings Incorporated.
Do I have a motion?
Move for adoption.
And a second?
Second.
On the motion.
On the motion, Ross?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Vouch?
Yes.
And Witcher?
Yes.
Okay,
And you want the ordinance next?
1631.
Okay. An ordinance providing for the collection of a franchise fee by E. Ritter Communications Holdings Incorporated on services provided within the municipal boundaries of the city of North Little Rock, Arkansas, and the method of payment thereof. First reading.
Move to suspend readings and place on third and final reading.
Move to suspend all readings.
All readings.
Yeah. How about a second?
Second.
On the motion.
On the motion to suspend the readings, Ross?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Vouch?
Yes.
And Witcher?
Yes.
How about a motion to adopt?
So
Motion?
moved.
Second?
Second.
On the motion.
On the motion to adopt, Ross?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Vouch?
Yes.
And Witcher?
Yes.
On the emergency, Ross?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Vouch?
Yes.
And Witcher?
Yes. Mayor?
Yeah.
If I may, the only other concern I have about this is, we already have on our poles, our electric facilities, AT&T, Comcast, and there's one other in some parts of the city. And so, my concern is clearance for one thing, and then where the poles can take additional weight.
And I can comment about that if you'd like. Right now, we're doing an inventory of our system. We've got a MillSoft system, but it requires us to inventory every pole, every wire, every transformer. And that's being done right now. And as you say, we have some poles that are very well occupied. Anytime that we have a new attachment come along, make ready is their responsibility. Sometimes, in other words, to make our pole ready to accept their facilities is the obligation of the entity that is attaching. Sometimes that requires a taller pole, in which case make ready turns rather expensive. But that's the obligation of the entity that's attaching to our pole rather than our obligation.
Okay.
I'm jumping around again. I just noticed that Dean DeMichael was here, so why don't we go ahead and knock his out real quick? That's Alderman White and Ross. Does y'all want to do that?
Yes, please call it.
01629.
Okay, 01629, ordinance approving variances for a ground-mounted monument sign on certain real property located at 4008 McCain Boulevard in the city of North Little Rock. First reading.
Move to suspend the readings.
Second.
On the motion.
Ross?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Vouch?
Yes.
And Witcher?
Yes.
How about a motion to adopt?
So move.
Second.
On the motion.
Can we ask,
Go ahead.
Mr. DeMichael, I'm excited, but anytime we get anything new, I just wanted to, if he could just.
Dean, you want to come
Would you
up and
mind
give us
coming
a
up just a second?
30-second commercial on your new location?
Yep.
Your new building?
Yeah, we should be open. It's on McCain, right on the corner there, the old McDonald's. It's going to be state-of-the-art with digital menu boards and all the latest equipment, dual-lane drive-throughs. Everybody remembers it just had that one booth there. Now we'll be able to put more cars through and faster, and we're happy to be there. It's costing a lot of money, and it's going to bring in more hamburger tax.
We like that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. On the motion.
On the motion to adopt, Ross?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Vouch?
Yes.
And Witcher?
Yes.
On the emergency, Ross?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Vouch?
Yes.
And Witcher?
Yes.
I don't know that a lot of y'all know this, and correct me if I'm wrong, Dean, but the industry standard that McDonald's looks at, that is 1,800 customers or customer events a day. So that's how many people plus are going through McCain. And like Dean said, that they're paying their fair share for our streets and our lights, and we appreciate what you do. How many have you got now? 3, 4?
6.
6. Wow, thank you. Okay, let's go back. We have no consent agenda. How about 1677?
Okay. R1677, a resolution accepting the low bid and authorizing the mayor and city clerk to enter into a contract with Tomco, Inc. for the McCain Grade Separation Project in the amount of $10,173,454.07, Arkansas Highway Department, job number 061294, funded with federal 80/20% matching funds through the Arkansas State Highway and Transportation Department.
Move for adoption.
Second.
Just FYI, due to wonderful fiscal management by you, our city council, this is already paid for. We have allocated this money throughout the last 3 or 4 years, And so we're going to go forward with it, and it's not going to cost us any more money. So, comments?
No, you took the winds out of my sail on that one. I was just
I'm
going to say
sorry.
that as cantankerous I am against the budget, this was well planned and well thought out.
Thank you. Ms. Ross?
Well, this was something that started back with Mayor Hayes on this grade separation. It's been a long project and everything, and something from the start. And we are way under budget, but there is one thing that we've been asking for all along is, if you're going to build a bridge, it's going to be there for minimum of 50, 60 years. You might as well do anything that you can at the time for a very minimum amount to make that bridge look good. In Bentonville this weekend, I mean, just, you know, they had like 6 little lights on it, and it just changed the whole looks of that bridge. It's not going to be a huge expense, but we are so far under budget. I know we're going to have contingencies in here also, but I'd also like to keep that in mind.
I think we're looking into that, aren't we, Chris? Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. I was in Kansas City 2 weeks ago, and every overpass that they had on their interstate had wrought iron and, you know, lamps and...
Lamps, and this is going to be, I know we may not see it now, but I do see this as a future gateway to the city.
I agree.
Soon.
I agree. Chris is working on it, and we'll get back to you once we come up with some ideas and some cost. Are we on the motion?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Ross?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Vouch? And Witcher?
Yes.
R-1678, Mayor Smith.
Please call it.
A resolution approving and certifying amounts of liens to be filed with Pulaski County Tax Collector against certain real properties in the city of North Little Rock as a result of grass cutting expenses and abatement of other nuisances.
Move for adoption.
Second.
Thank you. I'm going to call a public hearing. Anyone here to speak on our grass cutting expenses and abatement? Seeing none, close the public hearing on the motion.
Ross?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Vouch?
Yes.
And Witcher?
Yes.
Back to ordinances, O-1630, Alderman Taylor.
Call it.
An ordinance to reclassify property located at 606 North Olive Street in the city of North Little Rock from I-1 to C6 to allow an art studio gallery by amending ordinance number 7697, first reading.
Suspend all readings.
Second.
On the motion.
Ross?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Vouch?
Yes.
And Witcher?
Yes.
How about a motion?
To adopt.
Yep.
So move.
Second.
On the motion.
Ross?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Vouch?
Yes.
And Witcher?
Yes.
On the emergency, Ross?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Vouch?
Yes.
And Witcher?
Yes.
Concludes new business.
Thank you very much. Public comments. Joe, did you want to talk again? Okay. How about city council members? Mr. Fouch.
I'd just like to follow up on the Keep North Little Rock Beautiful plea for additional people to sign up. When you sign up your group, you pick your area that you want to clean. It's in your local neighborhood, a spot that a lot of volume of traffic, whatever it is that you decide to do. Just want to make sure that you understand you're not volunteering to work somewhere else in the city, so everything you're doing is helping your local neighborhood area. And I encourage you to please sign up.
Absolutely. All right, how about a motion?
So move.
Second.
Motion to adjourn.
Ross?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Robinson? Baxter?
Yes.
Vouch?
Yes.
And Witcher?
Yes.
Thank you all. Good night.